Hey everybody, before I get started, I just want to mention a couple of ways that you can engage with me on a more personal level. I have a few avenues set up and I keep focusing on one, and I figured why don't I make a short little video talking about all of them real quick before we get into these episodes. So first thing, Patreon. There's a link in the episode description and every episode description to the Patreon, as well as a video on the feed called Major Announcement that has all the details of what each tier offers and how much they cost. I implore you to check that out. I offer a lot of cool shit for my patrons. Second thing, the Discord channel. There's also a Discord link in the episode description and in every episode description. I have multiple channels set up there for each show that I'm covering, and it's a great way to just engage with me. I have a channel set up for MMA talk as well. I'm a big MMA fan, so if you're an MMA fan, you can check that out as well. There's a link to the Discord in the episode description. And then lastly, the Facebook and Twitter. Social media. Follow me on there. I post news on there. When I say news, I mean like, hey, I'm stopping covering this show. Hey, I'm starting covering this show. Let me know what you think about this. I do live watches of things on Facebook where like I'll check in and say I'm watching so-and-so show, and then I'll like live comment while I'm watching it, and that'll be cool if maybe you watch that show too and you want to watch along with me, or you're watching it later and you will see my thoughts, which are usually pretty entertaining because I'm usually pretty high when I'm writing them. So check out all those links in each episode description, and let's talk about this episode. Peace.
One mic, one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. One mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. One mic. One mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, where I watch shit so you don't have to. And today I'm here to talk about the white episode of Netflix's Kaleidoscope entitled The Heist. So last one, finally made it to The Heist. Like I said in the last video, I feel like it did take us a pretty long time to get here. I don't know if the path felt longer because of the order in which I was given episodes, or because of the quality of the show, or both, but now we're here, and it really did feel like it took forever to get here. But so remember the 7 jobs that were mentioned in whichever of the previous episodes, where we see where Leo talked about how they were going to beat Roger. We had these 7 jobs, and I talked about the 2 that I was most concerned about. Well, we see most of them go off without a hitch to open this episode. 5 minutes into the episode, they're already at the vault hallway while Judy is prepping her little subway tunnel situation. I openly wondered how they beat the thing that tracks your gate, and what purpose the bees served, and I got both of those questions answered in one scene here. They use the bees to throw off the gate sensor. Leo walks through there in a bee suit as the bees throw off the sensor. He uses his mask that we saw him make earlier to do the face scan with the face scan that they got when Stan scanned his face with when they were doing the eye, quote-unquote, eye exam. And then a fake, we see him place the fake item to get through the second test. And now they're all waiting outside, waiting for Judy to complete her little science experiment to blow the temperature sensors. We see her taking long, and the temp's about to reach the 73 degrees that I can't remember what happens at 73 degrees. I just remember that was the issue. But it's taking a long time for them to get there. They're getting restless. Ava's about to just blow it anyway, because it's like, well, we don't really have a choice. But of course, that would mean that they would be drowning Judy. There's actually a cool moment where we see how this stuff reacts to just one single drop of sweat that falls off of her head. So when RJ comes in to check on her, it's a pretty big deal when her bracelet, the same one that Bob gave her that we saw Stan try to pawn in one of the after the heist episodes, that bracelet causes her to drop. I think it might even puncture. I don't know. It caused her to drop whatever this thing was that she was using to put this chemical shit out, and it spills all over the bottom of this tunnel. So that we know when that water flows in, whatever happens is going to be more than just the breaking of the temperature sensors. But a pretty big mid-episode reveal here reveals that it's actually Roger's son who is the person who shot Leo. And again, like I said in the last video, I don't know if I was supposed to already know that shirt. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention and I just missed it. But that felt like a big reveal to me, but they didn't really play it like one. Like they just had, he was just in the room, and I'm just like, wait a minute, that's the same shirt that the person who killed Leo had on. And again, I don't know if I was already supposed to recognize that shirt so I would know it was Roger's kid at the end of the Pink episode. But for whatever reason, I didn't know. That felt like it. I mean, that was a reveal for me. I don't know if they meant it to be one, but I don't know. It didn't play like one. It also turned out I was right in my prediction for the double cross. Ava did set up Abasi. She sets up fake gunfire fire on the floor that they leased in that I talked about in one of the previous episodes. And they send Abasi up there to essentially throw her off the trail. But once she's there, Abasi uses her previously shown ability to find hidden places via power cords. And she discovers their security setup and cuts their fake camera feed, which shows Roger what's really going on. And as the bonds get sent out of the vault, they get stopped midway at the mailroom, and we see Hannah and her sister making the switch with the construction paper bonds. And of course, this is when I realized that I was also right about the FedEx guy getting the bonds out. We don't see it at that time, we see it later, but at that point I'm like, okay, yep, I was right about the FedEx guy and the bonds being in the FedEx packages, which we do find out later. I'll talk about that scene in a moment though. Bob bails out and he tries to trap the rest of the crew in there by taking the little fake putty rock looking thing that's the something that Roger owns that shuts everything down. He's ready to bail out with all the money, leave everyone high and dry. He leaves out to the to the truck with Judy. He sees RJ out there. He knocks out RJ. RJ then shoots him in the ass. And then right before RJ is about to finish him, Judy puts down RJ. And I like this scene because they established in the previous episodes how much Judy liked RJ. You know, the whole thing with the weird hug, all that good stuff. And then she has to kill him over a piece of shit like Bob. Like, that really had to suck. And then you mentioned too, RJ was just the getaway man. He wouldn't even had a gun to shoot Bob in the butt in the first place if it wasn't for Judy giving him one. So Judy's guilt over what happens to RJ has to be momentous. And then it makes that there's a scene in one of the previous episodes, one of the After the Heist episodes, where she thinks she sees RJ, and that now that episode in retrospect, or that scene in retrospect, hits a little bit harder with, again, the knowledge of her knowing that she had to put him down, which we didn't have at the moment when we saw her thinking that she saw RJ. So good. Not a lot of compliments for this for this show up to this point, but I thought that was a well done sequence. Let's see. Stan comes out and he sees them dumping RJ's body into a dumpster, and Bob starts shooting at him. Bob chases after him, but then I don't know why I'm struggling with the names right now. Judy comes and chokes him out. She thinks he's dead and she leaves. Ava drives by, sees him looking dead, and she leaves. So at least I know now, when she was saying that Bob was dead, she wasn't lying. She really believed it. He just wasn't. But he wakes up and he punches a hole in his neck so he can breathe, and presumably that is how he ends up living. Hannah reveals to Leo that she swapped out the bonds to essentially protect him from himself. Insurance will cover the cost of the bonds for the triplets, and that she's gonna give them back anyway. And so essentially she's washing the bonds just like they requested Roger do, because essentially the insurance money that they're getting for the bonds is clean money. So they have now clean money, the clean $7 billion for the bonds that they're worth. They also actually happen to still have the bonds. So money laundering successful. And then we end the episode and the entire series and this first season with Leo using the fingerprint he stole off of Roger's glass to get a key to the inside safe in Roger's personal vault that he early in the episode claimed to not even know was going to be there. He uses that to open it up and plant one of the necklaces that they stole from the country club in one of the earlier episodes. And that ends the series. And I think that, you know, it was a successful experiment in that I don't think. See, I can't say I don't think it didn't work, because even if I tried to go watch the episodes in a different order, it's not gonna matter because I already know what happened. So like, you really only get one viewing, even if you want to go back. Like, if you want to go back and look for holes and things like that, things that might not make sense, maybe you can do that and pick it apart. But the episode placement, where one episode is relative to one another, all the things that I pointed out during my 8 videos, like, they don't like, none of that really is going to change if I go watch the episodes in a different order, because I can't unlearn that information. So I already know what happened. And the way these episodes are positioned, like I said, even when things work out correctly, it still feels wrong, because I'm like, well, that worked out so well, and these episodes are supposed to be random. How is that? So it's like, you have that aspect of it that seems very tricky, like it didn't quite work, but it kind of did. But then most importantly, what you lost in this whole experiment was anything to make you care. You don't learn about these characters too much. You don't really learn anything. You just get, well, I mean, you learn about the heist, but like I said, the whole goal here isn't to inform us on these characters and these relationships and who they are, make us care about them so that when things happen, it matters. None of that is the goal. The goal is to make it so that the gimmick works. And I think the gimmick did work. It was just at the sacrifice of everything else that you need to make a good television show. So, I mean, this didn't suck or anything like that, but I wouldn't necessarily say it was time well spent. And it's like, okay, well, you could say you experienced the gimmick, you could say it worked, and you didn't. You could say maybe even say it didn't feel like it was a waste of time. But I don't think you can come away from this and be like, that was a great heist show and a great experiment. Job well done. I think it was an experiment that is moderately well done and a show that is just forgettable. So that's all I got. And I will see you guys for probably now at this point the next new content. 1923, we got a few more episodes of that, and then we'll have The Last of Us and Mayor of Kingstown 2. Those both drop on January 15th, so I'll be back for those for new videos. I'm gonna be releasing all sorts of different content over the course of January, though, including the long-awaited Best of 2022 video. So check out for that, probably on a future Saturday, one of the next two Saturdays. No, not the next two Saturdays. One of the next two Saturdays. Check for that on one of the next two Saturdays. I'm probably gonna make that a live video for everybody to join in on. So till then, peace.